What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What is up, you guys? Apostle T here. Coming back in. It feels like I have broadcasted a lot more on What's up, Sabrina? It feels like I've broadcasted a lot more on YouTube than I have been in this season. The words have literally been coming and coming and coming. Hey, Visha, how y'all doing? Our declaration is pass the test. Pass the test. Pass the test. I'm going to say it again. Pass the test. These revelations have been coming in all day. I'm going to just be real. They have really been coming in almost like back to back to back to back to back to back to back. But yeah, pass the test, baby. Pass the test. Pass the test. God is looking to see how we respond to things in this hour. The first part of the day was a little bit rough. Hey, Miss Allen. Hey, Miss Allen, blessings to you. And so again, our declaration, pass the test. That's the declaration. Pass the test. God is looking to see how we respond to certain situations, to see how we respond to certain circumstances. And honestly, these tests are not the same as they have been in the past. Because it's like for many of us in the struggle season, those tests look like, man, I got to endure. Excuse me. Stop. Those tests look like, many emotional bouts. It looked like many of us having whole temper tantrums with God. Who am I talking to? I know at least for me, the testing in the old season, I had a whole lot of temper tantrums. I had a whole bunch of tears in my eyes. But in this season, God is saying before certain blessings come, before certain doors open, he's testing us to see how far we've come and how far we've grown. I had a moment earlier before this broadcast when I was just sitting and reflecting on today, and I had one of those like light bulb moments. I don't know if y'all have ever had one of them light bulb moments where you just sit and you think about whatever transpired, and it's like in that moment, it's like all I could say was, God, that was a whole test. And before I could I think too, when we know that God has tested us, because a lot of times when you're being tested, sometimes you don't realize that you're being tested. Sometimes it's easy to discern when God is testing you, but then there are some moments where you literally don't know that you were being tested until the test is over. So here I am having a whole moment with God, and I'm like, what, Lord? I said, God, that was a whole test today. And it's like in those moments, our first response is to beat ourselves down. And I think primarily because we don't it's like when we think about tests, we think about perfect performance. Give me a one if y'all get what I'm saying. When you think about God testing you, our mindset is immediately about all the things that we feel we did wrong. And so it's real easy, in those moments when God tells you after the fact, or you realize after the fact that you are being tested, it's real easy to sit and beat yourself down. It's real easy to not even just beat yourself down, but you sit and you really think about, man, you start condemning yourself and saying, God, I ain't grown at all. Surely I thought I would have grown. And so before I could even start doing that, God had to tell me, you're looking for perfection, but I'm looking at growth. I'm going to say that again. God had to straight up tell me, you're looking for perfection. I'm looking for progress. There was a difference. I'm going to say it again. Before I could start, because I was already in the beginning phases of just kind of when I realized it was a test, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about, oh man, I felt like I responded the same way I would have in the past. And before I could finish that thought, God straight up told me, you're looking for perfection. I'm looking for growth. I'm just looking to see if you've progressed. And even now, the Holy Spirit is reminding me, I don't know, when y'all were in grade school, did y'all have what they call midterms? Did y'all have what they call midterms? You have your finals at the end of the semester, the end of the year. And then like in the middle of like that, whatever that school term is, whether it's fall or whatever, like you straight up, they have midterms, right? And midterms don't really weigh heavy towards like your final grade. They just give you an estimation of like where you are. Okay. Midterms give you an estimate of like where you are progress wise. Like it gives you an idea on whether or not you're going to pass the class, whether or not you're going to fail it. It gives you like a rough estimate of like what's going to happen. Midterms is not a grade that's like set in stone. Even though it matters, it's not like, you're going to pass or fail this class type of deal. And so it's like God does the same thing. He dropped this on me. He said, I do the same thing, right? Where, there are some tests where I'm just looking to see what your progress is. That's really what midterms is. It's checking to see the progress of like what you've learned, what you've been able to what you've been able to retain from what's been taught. And so like for many of us, we're accustomed to like the pass or fail test. Meaning if I pass this test, sweetie, no. Meaning if I pass this test, I get my blessing. If I pass this test, I get my breakthrough. If I pass this test, the door opens. If I pass this test, y'all get the point, right? But in this season, what God is looking for is he's looking at the progress that we've made since we've come out of the old season. Yeah. I'm going to say it again. What God is looking for, what God is looking for is the progress that we've made since we've transitioned into the new season. I'm going to say it again. So when he started telling me that, he said, this test is not like, it's not the same kind of test. It's not that the testing that you're used to in the old season, but this test is to see what you've actually retained since you've entered into this new season. I pray that I'm making sense. Bo Brady, stop. Y'all, he got the zoomies. Stop. No. Come here. Come on up here. You coming. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come on. Okay, he under the table. But like it was very different. And so in essence of God telling me that, what he was essentially saying is, don't judge your performance on this test the same way you would in the old season. I'm going to say that again. What God was pretty much saying is, don't judge how you feel you performed, right? On this particular test, the same way that you would judge it in the old season. Right? Meaning when the test actually dictated what came next. I'm going to say it again. In so many words, what God was saying is, don't judge how you feel you performed, right? And here's the thing. A lot of times we are harsher on ourselves than God is. I'm going to say it again. A lot of times we are harder on ourselves than God is. I'm going to say it one more time. A lot of times we are harder on ourselves, more harder on ourselves than God is. A lot of times when it revolves around our performance to the test, we be feeling like we know what God is looking for. But his vision, genuinely, it surpasses ours. A lot of times we be feeling like we know what he's looking for, like we him. And the reality of it is, during these tests, we really don't know. Listen, that's how I felt, Visha. But like for many of us, we really don't know exactly what God is looking for. We really don't. And so when God told me that, it kind of put me at ease a little bit, because I was sure getting ready to say, you have not grown at all. Like, why? And then he told me this, because sometimes when we're tested, it provokes an emotional response, right? And I think a lot of times why we're so harsh on ourselves, why we condemn ourselves, is because of the emotions that we feel. But God told me this. He said it was never about your emotions. You're going to feel how you're going to feel. But it's about what your emotions what your emotions tempt you to do. If you allow your emotions Hey, Capone, stop it. The devil is a liar. Be quiet. Hold on, y'all. I gotta put him up. Hey, come on here. Now, let's go. Sweetie. Come on, sweetie. Come on, sweetie. Come on. Sweetie. Let's go. Sweetie. Sorry, y'all. Sweetie, let's go. Come on here. Because y'all not going to do right. I got to get this word out. Come on here. Get in there. Come on, sweetie. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. But God told me. He said, you're judging yourself based off of your emotional response, based off of the emotions that you felt. When what I'm looking at is, did you allow your emotions to tempt you to do what you've done before? Give me one if I'm making sense. Because a lot of times when we think about like the testing, a lot of times we condemn ourselves, right? We, feel like we failed a test because of our human emotions, which are absolutely natural. But God told me, even as he was breaking it down, he said, you're judging whether or not you pass or fail this test based off of your emotions. But I'm not expecting you not to feel emotions, but I'm looking at what do you do when you feel those emotions? God told me. He said, I'm looking at what you do when you feel those emotions. Whew. He told me, I'm not expecting you not to feel how you're going to feel, but I'm looking at what you do when you feel how you feel. That's a whole mic drop moment. So again, I'm going to tell y'all, pass the test. And don't judge whether or not you pass or fail the test based off of how you feel. Because we're human. And God knows we are going to feel whatever it is that we going to feel. He's not looking at whether or not we have emotions about what we go through. He's looking at what do your emotions cause you to do. And even when you're tempted to respond the same way based off of your emotions that you have in the past, do you choose to make a different choice? And when he broke it down to me that way, I realized, wow, even though I felt emotions that I didn't want to feel, I didn't respond the same way I would have. My response was not the same. Yeah, I had emotions, but I didn't have an emotional response. I chose not to respond. I chose to retreat to God. And I think that for many people, like some of you guys have had weeks so far where little things have popped up. Some of you guys have had those weeks so far where you've had little tests here and there where God is looking at what's your progress like in this season. How are you progressing? How are you continuing to grow? What did you retain from the old season? And that's it. That's the word. That is the word. So if you can receive this, can you simply tell God, thank you? Pass the test. Pass the test. Wow, Visha. Pass the test. It was a morning for me too, Visha. I ain't lying. Pass the test. God is not looking for perfection. He's looking at whether or not you've grown. He's looking at what you do with what you feel. I'm going to say that again. He's looking at what you do with how you feel. And that's it. That's it. He is such a good God because he knows I was about to beat myself down. Listen, I was about to beat myself down. I am not lying. I literally felt this morning like, have I not grown? And I'm basing that off of me feeling however it was that I felt. And that's it. That is it. Man. Visha. Whew. Man. So listen, to those of y'all that feel led to sow seed into this word, the seed title is pass the test. Where we are, I was able to get me something to eat. I was able to put gas in my car, but I forgot that I ran out of dog food. I literally forgot that I ran out of dog food. And I believe I have maybe about $7, but I believe the dog food, it's going to cost probably around $20. That's with taxes, close to $20 with taxes to get their dog food. And so that is where the funds are going towards. I just fed them the last little bit of the dog food that they had left. And so that is where we are. That is my goal for tonight, is just to be able to get some more dog food for them. But that's it, y'all. I love y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. Again, my goal is around $20 to get dog food. I have like 7 left over, but it's not enough to get a bag of dog food. And so that is it. And God is so funny, because I went to the dollar store trying to get just a small bag and literally did not even have enough to get a super small bag. And so I think I was maybe like $3 short of getting a small bag. But that is where we are, y'all. I love y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. And so even if you're sowing seed into the goal, I just ask that you label it, pay it in full. And so until next time, y'all, peace. Thank you so much, Fisha.